Hi there, welcome to the bank holiday Hands Up for Trad afternoon show. As you can see, it's not been the nicest weekend in Loch Lomond, but luckily it's nice and dry inside, and we have some fantastic guests for you today. Remember and share the show to your friends and tell us where you're watching from. Please welcome our all-star Monday lineup, Eddi Reader, Karen Matheson, John McCusker, Ian Carr, and we'll be hearing from flautist Tiernan Curell later for a tune. How's it going, guys?
I've got my tambourine.
Got my little sound effect thing.
We're all cool.
Oh,
Missing each
good.
other. Nice to see each other. Nice to see John and Karen and Ian.
Yeah, it's nice to see your
Very good to
faces.
see you all.
I've forgotten what you look like.
It's great to reunite you from Phil Cunningham's Christmas songbook. Do you feel Christmassy?
Not really. No, it is. I mean, Phil describes it as like our staff dance. You know, we all spend most of the year touring with our own bands, our different folk, and being all professional. And it's not that we're not professional during the Christmas show, but it's just a bit of fun. It's like completely stress-free. And like it's a bit like this, where it's just nice to see people and hang out over Christmas. You know, it's become a big part of our year, I think. So yeah, it's total fun.
A big shout out to Phil Cunningham too, whose amazing work has changed so many people's lives. I definitely wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without him.
Me neither. I'm exactly the same.
Same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I was thinking about Phil a lot recently, where I was speaking to his FaceTime and we were talking about when we were little. It's like it wasn't like it is now, where you turn on this BBC album full of music. It was always Phil and Ali. You know, they opened up a whole world to us. You know, to I suppose mine and Ian's generation, maybe yours as well. Well, you were doing it as well, Karen and Eddie. But me and Ian, when we turned the telly on, it was them two that. You know, I saw Richard Thompson for the first time with Ali Bain and Friends, or Catherine Tickell playing her pipes. People I'd never seen before. They were the only folk that I remember playing traditional music on the telly. It's amazing.
Before we speak to Eddie, let's have a tune from the brilliant accordionist Tom Orr.
Well, hello everybody, and happy World Play a Strathspey Day. It's a great thing, and it's great to see so many people get involved.
In Edinburgh.
And yeah,
Right, guys. We're going to now talk to Eddie Reader.
C'est moi.
Oh, but I'm going to talk to me as well, actually. Everyone's missing. I love a bit of live. That's John McCusker. Why are we seeing him? Ah, now it's all coming together. Brilliant, fantastic, live.
Yeah.
So, Eddie, well done on your celebratory 40 years of performing live.
Except now we've got the hold on it. It'll be 41 when I start again. It'll be 41.
the big 4-1.
Big 41. 21 again. 21 again. I'll be 41 again.
That's fantastic. So, you've never stopped playing live and recording. What is it that you enjoy about performance?
You get nice sandwiches. I don't know. I like the company. I like the music. I love the way it makes me feel. Anyway, I don't care what anybody else feels, but I quite enjoy the feeling of singing and having a laugh. It feels like you're at a constant party. When you were 5, you were at a big adults party, and you felt like really lucky to get to see them all loosen up and sing songs. So I've still got that in me. I love that feeling, and I think recreating it has been my life's work, really, just recreating a Glasgow Maryhill party.
Well, you have never stopped from your early days in Irvine to busking in France and then topping the charts. You've had an amazing career so far.
I suppose so, but you're always just in the moment. You're always just now. That's something else. It's like abstract to me. It's a history. People remind me of it, but at the minute I'm just kind of, I want to get out and sing and create again. But I'm glad I did it all. I'd like to do it again. Thank you very much.
Well, you will. You have. In 2018, you released your album Cavalier. I can't remember what number of album that is, but it's a high number of albums. How do you keep making all these albums, trying to find something new? Do you think about it like that?
No, I just you get a kind of feeling. I think everybody else will have the same feeling about that. You just get this urge and an itch to get something recorded and created, and you go in and you hope that you can get the feeling that you've got in your body onto tape and or whatever it's called now, onto air, and then you just hope that you're just scratching an itch, really. I don't mean to reduce it, but it is about this urge, and then you satiate it, and then you sit back and maybe you let it go. Like me, I kind of let it go. There's songs that I've recorded I don't even remember anymore, until someone plays it to me, and then I'll go, oh, that's right, I did that, Like, the guy from Hue and Cry,
Pat
Kane. Yeah. Pat Kane, and he said to me that, or was it the Simple Mike? Anyway, one of these people said that I'd sung on something of theirs, and I was adamant that I hadn't, and then somebody played it to me, and there I was singing it, because I just forgot what I'd done. I think what you do is you're in the moment with music, you do it, you scratch that itch, and then it's like eating biscuits. The packet's finished, and then you want to eat more biscuits. That's kind of what happened.
Well, we're going to watch a video from the Cavalier album. It's called Wonderful. What's that song about?
It's about my struggles with being a mother with adult children, and trying really hard not to interfere with their decisions in life. Basically got to sit back and let it happen, and accept that they've got their own internal directions. And it's about that. And it's about it being wonderful that you have to learn that, to let go and let them get on with life.
Right, well, let's watch the clip.
I'm used to cloudy mornings. I know before I open my eyes. There's a warning of a storm a coming. Things will shake us up. inclined to you. The wars I fought indoors when I was young and stormy, they're not the same. Now I search for metaphors to make some sense to you, while clouds fill your frame. It's knowing that you're growing and it's definitely showing. It's wonderful and happening to you.
Right, we've been joined now by fiddler John McCusker and guitarist Ian Carr. How are you doing, guys?
Very good.
Good, Simon.
So,
For all of us.
a few years back now, you were all involved with Eddi's Sings the Songs of Robert Burns album. This was a very, very popular album, Eddi, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Well, it became so. It was popular in my house, but I mean, my Auntie Kathy didn't like it because she thought Burns was a bit of a hoormeester, as she called him, and so I wasn't allowed to play it to her. But everybody else kind of liked it.
So, being from Irvine, Burns must have been part of your life growing up, Eddi.
Oh God, it was like, well, it was like a foreign country, Irvine, to me, because I was brought up in Glasgow till I was about 14, and then when I was 15, we got a house in the big sprawling estates, and there I was, landed in Irvine, and it was beautiful. It was that summer, I think it was 1976. It was a beautiful hot summer, and the beach was glistening, so all the Beach Boys records came out, and I just sort of discovered folk clubs, and everybody was into Robert Burns, and Kilmarnock Folk Club and Irvine Folk Club, and then I joined wee bands, and with my acoustic guitar, me and Eleanor Shaw would go around all the Ayrshire folk clubs, and so that's like 77, 78. I was kind of deeply embedded in there. I mean, people like Heather Haywood would sing A Fond Kiss unaccompanied, and I'd never heard anybody except my aunties singing unaccompanied, and they would usually sing, you know, Doris Day or something. So it was great to hear Scottish voices singing in their own accent and all that. I loved that. I loved hearing that, and it kind of opened a door for me as a singer, you know.
And John, Ian, how did you go about being part of this album?
Well, I'd met Eddi on a beach in Sidmouth. That's the first time I played music with you. Do you remember?
I love
John,
that.
I think John introduced us. So that's when it started for us, you know, kind of pretty random, drunken jam on that beach. It was good.
It was on my
Spraying
own, and
electrums everywhere.
Yeah, it was very early in the morning, I remember. Dawn.
Yeah.
I was steaming on
Me
my own.
too.
And then
I
all
think
these guys turned up. There they were.
And the sort of spirit, I think the spirit of that kind of carried on into the recording studio, didn't it? It was really brilliant, the whole thing. I knew some Burns songs. I knew My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose and Charlie Is My Darling somehow. They kind of, but it was all new to me. I still love it. Meet people all the time that say, "Oh, are you on that?" Great.
And what about you, John? How did you meet Eddi?
I remember Eddie came to see the Battlefield Band when I was tiny in London. It was a big deal. I remember everybody excited. You were in the audience. And then I remember meeting you at the Folk Awards. And I think you talked about were you still living in London maybe? Or you were talking just moving back up?
Yeah.
And I think Eddie asked me to suggest a few people that, surround, get a little band together. And there was, it was very obvious the people to suggest to Eddie, like Ian, Michael McGoldrick, Ewan Vernal, Phil Cunningham, there's people who'd kind of grown up with. But it was amazing. I still, to this day, I remember there's things that happened during those sessions that have completely stayed in my head. And I've said this loads of times before, but Eddie's so fearless during those sessions there's like this thing of, I remember we played Molly Rankin, the tune at the end of Willie Stewart, and we were all just playing it, kind of learning the tune because some of us knew it or different versions of it. And Eddie was like, let's record it like that right now. And we're like, well, we don't really know it. And Eddie was saying, but it sounds good. And we're going, aye, but we don't know it. It's like, aye, but it sounds great. And that was like, there was some logic to that of going, I suppose that if it sounds good, let's do it.
And it did sound good.
And it did sound good, you know, and it might not have been musically perfect, but the spirit of trying to capture the spirit of those sessions. But I remember playing the whistle in Wild Mountain Side, and it was live. The orchestra were there, and we did it live with so like this full orchestra were playing, and it was one of those moments of I was waiting to come in, going, man, just waiting to go. Like people going, what? So there was. It was
beautiful.
It was inspiring for us watching you, you know, the captain of the Robot ship, you know, just guiding and trying to keep the spirit of everything. It was beautiful. Still, so many lovely memories from those sessions.
Well, we're going to watch a video that I just spotted the other day there of Charlie Is My Darling with all you guys in the band. It's a big, massive band, actually. And it just looks like you're having the best of times on the stage. It's absolutely lovely. I think it's actually just gone up on YouTube in the last few days, so you should definitely search it out.
I want to see it.
So, here it is. Charlie Is My Darling.
'Twas on a Monday morning, right early in the year, that Charlie came to our town, the young Chevalier. Charlie is my darling, my darling, my darling. Charlie is my darling, the young Chevalier. As he was walking down the street, the city for to view, there he spied a bonny lass, the windy peeking through. Charlie is my darling, my darling, my darling. Charlie is my darling, the young Chevalier. Jumped up the stairs and tattled at the pen, and who's so ready but herself to let the laddie in? Charlie is my darling, my darling, my darling. Charlie is my darling, the young Chevalier.
Ah, that's great. That's an amazing video. Right, I just want to do a few shout outs to the people who are listening. There's loads of people watching from all around the world. Let's say hello to Leah from Sunny Bucky. Hi, Robert. Angela Fraser from Momo's Doob. I don't know what that is. Hector from Asturias in Spain. Alana from Israel. Joan from Curry in Edinburgh. Erica from North Carolina, UK. There's Marianne from Germany. Vincent from Leeds. Callum from Whittington. Kim in South Ayrshire, centre of the world. And what else? Who have we got? Australia, Jen from Australia. I can keep going. There's Oscar from Chile.
Hi, Oscar.
And Thomas Ovens says a big hello to Eddie Reader. She will know who I am. And I know I had a lovely one here. Someone just saying, hello, ladies. You look beautiful as always.
No.
And I can keep going. There's so many people. There's Donna from San Francisco and Nigel. Chris Payton from Irvine. Maureen from Donegal. Oh, man. And there's Nigel from Portsmouth. So, hello to you all. Anyway, that's tiring. Fantastic. Anyway, it's not often you get to be in the presence of a true folk music icon, someone who made Scottish music cool, brought it to a mainstream audience and inspired so many to follow in her path. Welcome to singer Karen Matheson.
Hi. Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Oh, great, Karen. It's fantastic to have you on the show.
Great to be here.
Oh, somebody's getting a phone call. Anyway, listen.
That's me, sorry.
That's okay. Right, so did you ever think growing up, Karen, that you would be
Hello.
a folk musician and sell over 1 million albums with Capercaillie.
No, no. So it's not really how I set out my life to be. No. I think Donald had. Well, I know Donald had a vision always for Capercaillie, and he really ploughed that path. And I just sort of got sucked in along the way. I mean, I always loved singing Gaelic songs. I sang them since I was, teeny, and but I never for 1 second envisaged it being a sort of a lifelong career. I wasn't that ambitious, so I feel very grateful to have got sucked in, and we were around, I suppose, just at a very crucial time as well when folk music was just starting to sort of, well, like we were talking earlier about Phil and Ali, and a lot of the Irish bands were much more prevalent at the time, Plankstein, Bothyban, Moving Hearts was much stronger scene than there was in Scotland, so we were influenced quite heavily by them. And to go back to your question, no, I would never have dreamt that this would end up being my career.
And so how did Capercaillie start?
Well, I think the very original lineup was at Oban High School, and they had been invited to the Mull Music Festival. And at this stage, I wasn't with them, so it was just an acoustic band at the time. And they got a call from John Carmichael at Radio Scotland, Gaelic Radio, to ask if they would come on board and do a half-hour programme, but could they find a singer? So they wanted someone to sing a couple of Gaelic songs as well. So, of course, Donald, we knew each other in the village, and he asked if I would come and do a couple of Gaelic songs. And actually, I don't think they even had a name at that point. I think they had to quickly think up a name and find a singer. So I was grabbed from... That's literally how it came about. It could have been anybody, really. I was the lucky one.
And was there singing in your family?
Oh, yes. Yeah, well, I mean, when I say, oh, yes, I mean, my grandmother sang. My mother was painfully shy, but there was. I mean, my mother was from the Isle of Barra, so there was a strong tradition, and my father played the box, and I suppose we did quite Hogmanay parties were a big thing in our house. So music was there for sure.
Well, I noticed that this actually is the 25th anniversary of you and Liam Neeson and Rob Roy.
That's right. I couldn't believe that myself.
I've actually got a photo of you both together here. It's what was that like? What was it like being on a movie set? Because you were obviously in it.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, at the time, again, like Eddi was saying, you just go with the moment, and you don't realise that the power of something like that and how it can actually create opportunities and open doors for you. But at the time, we were just sort of sucked into a whole kind of another world of, on a hillside up, in Fort William with Liam Neeson and Jessica Lange and all these extras, and just thinking, oh, well, it's just another day at the office sort of thing. And then coming away from it and thinking, Jesus, did we really just do that? And even more so 25 years down the line, looking back at it, I still have to take a sharp intake of breath and think, was that actually real?
And what was the song that you sang in the movie?
Was a song called Ellen Dine, Dark Allen. It was a lament. And I think the scene it's a big murder scene, and there's a Cayley scene on the side of the hill. And I distinctly remember that, and I've actually raked out old photographs from it, which are, really bring back the story to me. And actually, a very vivid memory of that was trying to find somewhere to go to the loo, because you're halfway up a hillside with 400 extras. You're in this Highland costume, which you can't get out of. the rain's starting to come, and you need the loo. So that was the biggest dilemma. But yeah, it was a Kaylee scene, a sort of a love scene, I suppose, with Liam and Jessica in each other's arms, just watching, people playing music. That's where the boys were all playing tunes, and then it cuts to me singing a lovely old lament, and then cuts between me singing it on the hillside with them in an embrace to the murder scene. So it shoots back and forth. It's very cleverly done.
Well, we're going to watch a little clip of it, but just before we do that, there's a couple of people just coming online. John McCusker like this, a bit of love for Karen Matheson. Basically, Jen McKenzie has said Karen's Four Walls features in my novel Vivaldi's Lost Concerto.
Oh, no.
And Rosemary Murray says, I first heard Karen at the Flat on Glasgow Green in 1989. She was singing inside a tent. I was completely blown away. The tent was packed.
Wow, I wonder what that was. Was it the big day? No.
Possibly. She might come back and tell us. But anyway, let's watch this short clip of you with Liam Neeson and the rest of the cast.
Guramische hafoeshlen mochs vadin yes mikedi oh ich julin lert hiri varuvi hiri varin yeho Elendijn, oh, julin let. Masje knoase gochte ganje, masje lepi gochte niemin, oh, julin let. Hiri
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely, really beautiful. I'm just quickly reporting here that Gail Smith is telling us that Catherine McFarlane finished third in the World Poetry Slam the other day there. She says, can you imagine if Scotland's football team came third in the world, we'd be celebrating for a week. Very true. Lots of people. What did Sean Connery say about your voice again, Karen?
I can't remember. But
it was really nice, though, wasn't it?
We paid him handsomely anyway.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, so I also read that the year after Rob Roy, maybe your finest ever moment was that you represented France in the Eurovision.
You've been following my Facebook page. Yes, that's absolutely true.
Wow.
That you were singing for the Breton part.
Yeah, it was a project called Heritage de Celt with Dan Arbraz, wonderful guitar player from Brittany, and he put together with Donal Lunny from Ireland. So we had Donal Lunny, and Ray Fian was the drummer, who was just extraordinary. He played with Capercaillie for a while as well. We recorded an album with him. And Eoin O'Neill was the bass player. It was an amazing project, actually, that we did, and it must have run for about 8 years or so. It was a long time anyway, and we toured a lot in France. We made 2 albums, and culminating, I think, in Bercy in Paris, and to like however many squillion people. It was really, it really drew on something exciting that was happening in Breton music at the time. There was a Welsh singer too, Elaine Morgan. So, however, they invited us to represent France. I think trying to get brownie points by using the Breton language rather than French. So, trying to galvanise something there. And it was a lovely song that Dan had written actually many years before. He'd written it, called Dywanek Bugali, a song for the children. I think it was the opening of a school he'd written it for. And they invited us to go to Oslo and represent France, and the rest is history. And it was great fun, and we were second last before you.
One above the Brits.
So you were actually in the studio with everybody, like in the TV show. You were part of the studio. You were part of the TV.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chat. I haven't seen that.
24 years ago.
Is there a clip?
There is a clip, but I've taken it down. Nobody can see it.
I need to watch that, and I would love to see that.
It was again an amazing experience, and but I mean, I think the kind of sad side of that is how much people were kind of it meant so much to an awful lot of people, when really we were probably taking it a little bit more tongue in cheek, and we knew that we didn't really have any chance of getting anywhere because it was a indigenous language, which is why we were doing it. But we also knew the flip side of that would mean that, you weren't going to have the same kind of clout. But of course, the French were nuclear testing in the Pacific, and we'd been told that in advance of it. And they said, you do realise you won't get any points because of that. So there was a lot of politics involved. But as I say, we were taking it very much tongue-in-cheek and just enjoying the experience for what it was. And really just a big shout out to indigenous languages and saying, hang on a minute, we're here, remember us?
Yeah, brilliant.
Another great experience.
Yeah, well, Karen, I mean, we're obviously talking a lot about the past here, but you're still singing away as much as ever.
What?
Well, trying to.
House again.
And recently, someone's microphone has gone really hissy. Karen, you recently sang for the Fèis Ross Tutors concert, their virtual online.
Yeah, that was a lovely thing to do. I mean, I never took part in the actual tutorials at Fèis Ross, but I was involved with the students when we were, like Donald had done a thing called Harvest, which was bringing together all the 100 of the kids to do a gig at the concert hall. But Donald taught at the very first Fèis and subsequently taught at a number after that. So it was a great thing that Fiona Dalgetty put together because obviously Fèis Ross couldn't happen this year. It was just a chance to bring together the people that were, that had been involved in it before and do it online. So I guess that's maybe a way forward for all of us. For maybe that's how life's going to move forward with this. There's going to be a lot more stuff like that.
Do you remember the first song you sang in the concert? That's okay, because I'm going to remind you by playing it. Well, it's just a clip in it, and it just sounds... Say again, sorry?
You mean in the Fèis Ross concert?
Yes.
Oh, yes, of course. I thought you meant way back in Harvest, like 25 years ago. Yes, I do. Farron Roman Rare.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful, and we'll just hear a short clip of it now.
Thank you.
Chanel fysig dŵn chalaf far'n romin rhaid Charol ewmach mari elein far'n romin rhaid O'r mi giadog o'mach chalik benach canafai Aun glernan keine varig far'n romin rhaid Van hjoin schön le karen far'n romin rhaid Iad daus varna mengen far'n romin rhaid Fale cwr I drw Caro smooch, no stor valle,
That was fantastic. Well, this is going very well. Lots of people loving it. Michelle Luna's phone has died, but she's still loving it. Lots of lovely comments about Karen. David Macy has said, when are you going to rock us with Sunshine of Your Love again? I was in tears when you came on and sung that.
I think that must be Eddi, surely.
No,
Karen. And anyone else? Oh, just beautiful singing, Karen. Anyway, next up, we are going to talk to John McCusker. And John was on a couple of weeks ago when we had Scary Four on. And there was lots of love coming in through the comments for Scary Four and none for John and Mike. So,
I mean, when he says none, there wasn't one single comment throughout the whole show. It's from all over the world saying, oh, we love Scary Four. Nothing. Not a single thing.
Well, no, there was a few after that. Some people did feel sorry from you.
That's often.
Actually,
somebody from people feels sorry for John and Mike.
Yeah, actually, there's Libby Shaw saying I should be mowing the grass but can't tear myself away from your magic. There you go. That, I think she means you, John, no.
Thanks, Karen.
My mother-in-law.
Really likes me. That's great.
Anyway, I mean, obviously, John, last time we were chatting about your globe-trotting exploits with Martin Offler and Bob Dylan, which was pretty amazing. But I thought today, oh yeah, and also your brand new album, the Reeds That Bends in the Storm with John Doyle and Michael McGoldrick. But yeah. I thought that today we could talk about your composition, because you've done so much amazing compositions over the years.
Thank you.
How do you go about composing?
I walk generally these days. I mean, I've never been one to sit down and compose for fun. You know, it's usually when there's a record or somebody needs a tune or making a record. But these days when I'm on tour, like I suppose most folk, I'm singing everything into my phone. And I think if I don't do that, if I don't try and capture what's in my head, if I'm walking in a field or around a city, sometimes it goes away. It does come back again. I think the good ideas are in there somewhere, and even if you forget to record them or write them down, they'll come back. So that's generally what I do. Like when I've been, like you were talking about Martin Offler, that's like an amazing gift of time during tour. Usually we're just sitting in vans and sound checking, eating crisps. So you never have this space to, compose. But with those kind of tours, you do get days off and you walk around these cities. So I sing into my phone most days and try and be inspired by where I am. But I've found, like on the last tour I was on, I would sing, I would name it each tune. So it could be called Stockholm or, wherever, Brighton. But then I would record a tune on my phone, and then maybe it could be 3 months later, I'd have an idea in my head and I would record another idea in my phone, and it would be the same tune that I've written that I hadn't listened to for 3 months ago. So I think it's interesting, these ideas that are floating about your head, that they just want to come out somewhere. I do enjoy composing. You know this, we all know this, where I think one of the loveliest things that happen to us is, people that write songs or write tunes, is when somebody chooses to record them. That's an amazing thing. Out of all the tunes and songs you could choose, if somebody chooses one of yours, that's like one of the biggest compliments.
Well, we're going to have a wee listen to a bit of a tribute to you, actually, from Chris Thiele.
Oh, yeah.
And he played your tune Frank's Reel. Just came up on the internet the other day there. And so who was Frank? Who is Frank?
Frank is still my best pal. He's a drummer in Teenage Fan Club, and he makes lots of music. So I just named it after him. And it was one of those, it's like my, not very often do us musicians, we have folk hits. If I've ever had a folk hit, it's that little tune that I made up 30 years ago. You know, it's been like, again, like you say, people all over the world playing sessions and all that stuff. So it's so lovely.
That's amazing. Well, let's have a listen to Chris playing it on his mandolin.
A pair of Brittany Haas's and my favorite Scottish fiddlers, Alasdair Fraser and John McCusker, they share a birthday week. How fortuitous.
Ah, fantastic. Right, that's a great tune, John. Everybody loves it.
Thank you.
I'm going to report back some love before we have a chat with Ian as well. It's amazing what happens when you ask for it. So,
Egg for the love.
and Ian gets a mention here. Amanda says, John, we love you and Ian. Buxley Manor thinks John's magic. And Erica loves John playing his style. And here's Michelle saying they can't wait to hear this year's Christmas songbook in Perth. Let's hope it happens.
Very good.
That's cool.
So, Ian Carr on the guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Where did you and John meet? Because you've played on all of John's solo albums, I think.
That's true. I think we met for the first time in my flat in Newcastle. Was that not the case, John?
Yeah, in fact, it was Simon Toomey, our host today, who, after staying up all night, me and him playing tunes in Edinburgh, we woke up at his mum's house and he said, you should make a solo record. And I was like, yeah, I want to. And he said, who would you get to play on it? And it's like, my favourite guitar player is Ian Carr, but I'm too shy to ask him. He said, well, let's phone him. And we phoned him that morning and he put me on the phone to you and said, this is how easy it is. Just ask him. And that's yeah, sure.
I didn't realise that you were too shy.
Look, it was a long time ago. And that was we completely made it up. Making records together and didn't know what we were doing. Or you knew more about it than I did, Ian, because you'd made it.
That's right. And actually, you've played together so much now, you must have quite an understanding of each other's music.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Kind of, we know what to do. I know what to do when John McCusker plays tunes. Yeah.
Reach for the spectrum. I think there's a thing where there's a bunch of us and it feels like we've completely grown up musically together. Like we always seem to migrate towards the same sessions, whether it's Eddi or loads of different singers and musicians over the years, we would find ourselves being asked to be on the same stuff. So it'd be like myself and Ian, Andy Cutting, Michael McGoldrick, Phil, James McIntosh, Ewan Vernal, those. And it does feel like this is, 30 years ago, I was meeting and playing music with these people and we're still talking, well, right now. So I think it's very natural whether we're part of Phil's, Christmas songbook or Eddi's gigs or, when we get together, it's like total pals who know each other so well. And I think it's important to say that we feel very comfortable playing with each other. So, if you're in a studio or a big concert hall, there's no barrier between you and the microphones or the audience. We just feel, I think, very relaxed playing with each other.
Well, we're going to hear a little... We're actually going to hear a little audio clip from John's album, Hello, Goodbye. It's the final tune in the set, and I thought we'd just have a listen to it. It's just audio, so feel free to dance along. Anyway,
I got these little things. They're great.
You know what's really good about them, Ian? It just sounds so good live. I mean, I really liked it, but it didn't do the best for John's Hello Goodbye track.
Oh, really?
That's what we've missing from the rest.
Well, and I mean, if you are, after all of that, and you still want to buy John's albums, you can do that at johnmccusker.co.uk. And anyway, John is going to leave us. Now we're just going to talk about Ian and his new album. So Ian,
Exciting.
what is your brand new album called?
It's called I Like Your Taste in Music, and it's blue, and it's got a rabbit on it.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Well, how
And it's
about...
by me and Laura Wilkie and Thomas Gibbs and Maria Johnson and Staffan Lindfors and some other people.
That sounds very good. And so you've told us who's on the album. It's a lot of... You've written all the material on it, haven't you?
No, there's a couple of trad ones. There's a tune by Thomas, the piano player, and there's a tune, The Flow Country by Jim Sutherland is also on it.
And how'd you...
So I've written 9 things out of 11.
9?
Something like that.
And how'd you go about writing your tunes? Because you're a prolific composer yourself.
Same as John, same as what he was saying, exactly the same experience. I record voice memos all the time, so my telephone is just full of me singing and playing and all sorts. So yeah, I mean, half of the things I never listen to again, but it's all the time that's what happens.
No, it's fun. Well, it's a great... Actually, we're going to listen to the title track of the album. What's it called again?
It's called I Like Your Taste in Music.
Oh, amazing. Well, this is a brilliant video made. Who made your video again?
My neighbour John Rasmus made it. He lives across the road, so we just go and visit each other and work on things like that. It's great.
Amazing. Well, let's have a watch of it now. Hi, everyone's back now, and we've been joined by flautist Tiernan Carell.
Oh, Carell, it's pronounced. My dad looked it up a while ago, and I think it comes from France somewhere, maybe more than 100 years ago. I think we don't really have... I'm the only musician in my family. My dad plays, but before that, there's no one else. But when he researched the name, the French man that came over to Ireland was actually a fiddle player, and he moved to Mayo, and he would teach music, and he was obviously not a very good teacher because no one else in the family, the music left the family, and but then Dad started playing again, and that's how I play. So that's why, I don't know, my great granddad came over to Ireland was to like teach fiddle or something like that. So yeah, I play in a band called Trip. It's Rory Matheson, Craig Baxter, Isla Callister, Ali Mackenzie, and Michael Biggins. And yeah, we play kind of trad stuff, and we're hopefully going to record an album at some point. We had it booked for August, which we were hoping to still go for, but I suppose we just kind of have to see with all the Corona stuff if we're able to, you know. But hopefully we'll get an album out this year, you know, or recorded anyways. So good, thank you. Yeah, that's on Facebook if you just look up Trip Music.
Great.
Yeah, that's our last video. I've gone a bit mad in playing hop jigs because I don't know too many. So I was gonna play The Boys of Ballastadair and Cook and Andy. So I'll give those a shot.
So I'll just say again for everybody, thanks again for coming on today. We really appreciated it.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you all.
And thanks to Creative Scotland for this. And I should say, we're back on Wednesday at 2 p.m. and we've got a special couples edition. So we'll see how that goes. It could end up all wrong.
Yoink.
Yeah.
So thanks again, and take it away, Tiernan.